I could not stop smiling. You told me what my was at. I got this. I can. You have? Did you print out all the random details? No, I didn't print that one. I will get it for you. I was trying to get one. Maybe a couple of us kept it in the wall. They called out all in Athens. He didn't call out all the students from the other school. Okay. So when I wasn't sure, I knew some of the folks, but it was like, I think that's Sean. I think that was. Yeah. Because I was like, I don't know all the kids. I felt bad. Someone was named Trey John. I thought they were trying to say Trey Vaughn.
Yeah. It's like there was a lifter right before Trey Vaughn. His name was Trey John.
Oh, gee. No wonder it was confusing. It's like, wait a minute. Chronic patient. Like, do it. Yeah. Mom wants me to speak. I'll think about it.
Public.
Yeah, you can do it. Items, but then if you want to organization, subject matter. Yeah.
Check 1, 2. Check 3, 4. Test 7.
Somebody else.
Check 12. Test 3, 4, 5.
Oh my God.
More to come.
Actually.
Ready? All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our March 19th board meeting. We will start first with the approval of the minutes from the February 13th meeting. This will be approved via unanimous consent. Any questions or input on the minutes from last meeting? Okay, Christine will approve. Okay, Mr. Stage, do you want to introduce the presentation?
Absolutely. I just wanted to welcome Lindsay Coleman here tonight. Lindsay is used to be a career coach for the district. So now she has a new title. She's the business education coordinator for the NTRPDC, Northern Tier Regional Planning Development Commission. It's a long one. I don't know how you do it. But Lindsay, if you could just use the microphone, because I think we're recording tonight, live streaming.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for having me this evening. I do know many of you, but again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lindsay Coleman. As Craig said, I'm the business education coordinator now with Northern Tier Regional Planning and Development Commission. I've held that position now for just a month or two. And prior to that, for the last year and a half, I've been the career coach for Athens Area School District. We recently hired a new career coach, Mandy Wakely. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here this evening, but she had other commitments. But again, we're really excited to have her on the team and that she's getting started, and we're excited about that. So in any case, NTRPDC, through the Business Education Partnership Grant, offers career coaching services to school districts in a 5-county region. In the last year and a half, as your career coach, I focused my time providing career education to over 1,100 students between the middle school and high school. In addition to helping organize special events, career events here at SRU Elementary and at Livingston Elementary as well. Career days, classroom presenters, mock interviews, Mad City Money Reality Fair, field trips, and countless in-classroom lessons on soft skills, interest and ability identification, and career pathway exploration are some of the educational career opportunities that I've helped provide to the students of Athens Area School District. These events culminated in supporting the district's efforts in meeting Chapter 339 Education and Work requirements, as well as meeting their Future Ready Index benchmarks for career and college readiness. Most importantly, the goal of the BEP is to increase student connection to area employers and occupations in the Northern Tier region. This has been done through these activities and will continue to be done as Mandy transitions into this role. There are currently 12 school districts and 1 CTC in our 5-county region that take advantage of the career coaching resources that NTRPDC offers. 4 of those school districts are investing in the program further by paying for additional support of their career coach. Towanda and Troy school districts pay for an additional day to have their career coach on campus. Athens Area School District pays for an additional 2 days, so you have your career coach 3 days a week. And then Wyalusing pays an additional 4 days, so they have their career days. They have their career coach on campus 5 days a week. Recently, NTRPDC and partners across New York's Southern Tier have been awarded a $4.5 million ARISE grant from ARC for an initiative to empower youth, enhance our future workforce, and foster career opportunities across our region. This grant will allow us to expand our current business and education partnership program in different ways. One such way is to extend an offer to school districts that are already investing in the program by offering an additional grant-funded day of career coaching services. Because Athens Area School District sees the value in the career coaching program and is already investing in it, you will be one of the 4 school districts that will have the option of having your career coach for an additional grant-funded day during the 2024-2025 school year. We are excited to continue to work with Athens Area School District. We appreciate your support of our programs and initiatives, and we hope that you're excited about accepting this offer. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the program. We again thank you for supporting it, and thank you again for taking time to have me this evening.
Thank you, Lindsay. And the answer is yes. Well, still yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Can I just say, I want to thank Mrs. Coleman for what you've done for SRU for the past year and a half or 2 years. You're leaving some big shoes here to fill. I think your support and your participation and just everything you do for SRU is greatly appreciated.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to number 4, superintendent's items and reports. So Mr. Stage, we'll start with your report first.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Few things I'd like to report on. We'll start with the building reports. I'll start with the high school first, and then I'll end with SRU. Our boys, we had swimmers competed in states. They did it very well. They showed up and they competed against some really amazing swimmers. While they didn't medal, they did break the relay record by improving their time by 4 seconds, which is incredible. Great accomplishment. Friendly reminder that National Honor Society induction is going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. At the Athens Area High School. The last thing I want to report on is I see Mr. Hulslander here, and maybe he wants to come up and share. Our GRIP, which is our powerlifting club, competed this weekend, and overall the team took 3rd place. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, Nico? Come, you can. Don't break our microphone, but go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nico Hosslander. I am the volunteer coach for the powerlifting Athens Group Powerlifting Club. Just very, very proud of the team. Pretty amazed. Last year was the first contest that we went to at Columbia Montour Tech. It's called the Rams Power Day. It's a bench press and deadlift championship. Last year we had one competitor, Caleb Hudsinger, and he did very well. This year we had 8 competitors, including 2 girls. And overall, as a team against 11 other teams, we took 3rd place. We had a couple individual champions, we had runner-ups, and we had 3rd place. So each individual lifter came away with some hardware in their respective divisions and weight class. So just want to report, thank you very much for allowing this powerlifting club to continue. We look forward to actually competing at our next contest, which is May 5th at Jim Thorpe High School, and that is our state championships. Prior to this, we've actually competed 2 other times, once in January. That was down at Kennerdale High School in Southern York County, Pennsylvania. We also competed at Parkland High School in Allentown in February, and that was the Pennsylvania Teenage State Championships. And that marked the very first time ever as a club that we placed 3rd as well at that contest. So we're actually improving as a team as well as individually, and these guys and gals are really looking forward to our next contest in May. So I want to thank you all.
Nico, did you bring any power lifters here with you
We
today?
do have one lifter here representing the club. His name is Keegan Freeman, and if you don't mind, I'd like to bring him forward.
Yeah,
and,
please.
Have him say a few words. He also brought his hardware that he earned, and also have a picture for the board.
Thank you.
Our team.
Thank you very much. Oh, man, I think that's
It's definitely been a great couple years, 8 years. It's been an amazing experience to be trained by this man. Amazing man, amazing coach. I have to thank him for teaching me how to lift. I had no idea how to pick up, lift anything. I couldn't lift the bar. It was a pain to start lifting. I barely started out with 135. Now I'm up to 200 on squat. 300. 300 on deadlift and 130 on the bench. He's taken me a long way from where I was. I'm sure many lifters could say the same.
I'll stay until the end of the meeting. If there's any questions, I can answer them now. If there's any questions afterwards, I can. He is only a freshman. So we have 2 other freshmen on the team. We have 5 seniors. So our team is actually going to be really developing over the next few years. And we do have 1 junior. So just to give a shout out, it's not just a male sport. We do have 2 ladies. One of our young ladies deadlifted 305 pounds.
Incredible. Incredible.
We qualified 4 lifters this year already for the national championship, which is taking place in Louisiana next month. And 1 lifter has decided to go. So we wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoslander. And just so you know, Mr. Freeman, I also did not know how to lift in college until I hung out with that guy once or twice. And he said, "Hey, I need help spotting," which just meant I watched a lot. And in the basement of that dirty old gym at Lock Haven. So a long time ago. Obviously it didn't take. But I appreciate you. I'd like to report about from the Harlan Row Middle School. We did have 2 students compete in the media and design competition. We did have a couple first place finishers, Serrano Marika and Riley Warden, both finished first place, and they'll be headed off to state in May. So congratulations to them. Our students and staff, in cooperation with Kids Can't Fight Cancer Alone, raised over $2,500 for Seth Becker, one of our students who's battling bone cancer. So that was wonderful. And we really do wish Seth all the best. March 27th is coming right around the corner. And they wanted us to know on Activity Day, there's going to be a gigantic spike ball tournament going on for Activity Day. And it's got Harlan Row just a buzzing. I just wanted to also point out that both of our high school and our middle school science Olympiad teams both finished first place at the Northeast Regional Competition, and they will be competing at the Science Olympiad State Competition on April 24th through 26th. Don't quote me on those dates, but I'm within 24 hours at Juniata College. Hopefully they compete well enough. They have a goal. They want to go to nationals, which I believe is at the University of Michigan this year. So that's their goal, and we wish them all the best. And I hope to be able to watch them. At Lynch Buston Elementary, they had a family folk night last week. It's a music and dance event where the parents and the students get together. There's a lot of dancing and singing and folk music, and Mrs. Reynolds puts that on, and it's a lot of fun, and it was fantastic. Right now they're competing in Music March Madness, which is awesome because it is time for the basketball tournament. But Music March Madness was a lot of fun, and I was listening to it this afternoon. Student Council held their first family fun night, and the second grade team had a parent engagement night where they invited parents in to talk about math games that they can participate with their students or their children to encourage them to keep learning math concepts. And from Lynch Buston Elementary, Mr. Collum has some special guests tonight to give the board. What did I say? Oh, like I literally told people earlier, I think I'm stroking out. I've used every wrong name possible today. It's been a stressful day. Mr. Collum and SRU Elementary, apologies, have some students here that are going to present what's going on in their building. And Mr. Collum, can you make sure you introduce the names of everyone? Thank you. There's a lot.
All right, I'm not going to speak much. I'm going to give them the floor. But we formed a student council this past fall, where we have 12 members. We have 6 from our 4th grade and 6 from our 5th grade. And we have really allowed them to take the lead on most of the things that have happened since September. really. And there's been a lot and they've been getting out and volunteering. They have an upcoming opportunity. But I will give them the floor to introduce themselves, and I think each one of them has something to share specifically that is either going on here or that they've participated in as part of the council.
Hi, I'm Allie Lyon, and this year Student Council organized a food drive that brought over 600 cans for CHOP. We wanted to help our community, so we decided to go to CHOP and do some community service. We helped open boxes and put them into the containers that they prefer. We also helped bag the bag that gets sent home with students every week. They appreciated our help a lot because they support over 45 schools. We hope that we can go more in the future. Overall, I think that Student Council had lots of fun helping out. Hi, my name's Emma, and these are some of my Student Council members. We are going to the elderly home in Bradford Hills after school hours. Next week on Wednesday, on our half day, we are going to stay after the bell and go visit the people that live there. Some things we hope to do are board games, crafts, etc. Mr. Collum has reached out to Bradford Hills Nursing Home, and they hope to have us visit there. Thank you. Hi, my name is Lindsay Ahern. A couple weeks ago, we had a kindness challenge. We had a sheet of paper. It had 50 tasks. Some of the tasks were help 10 people and high five 25 people. We also made posters that you can tell if you look behind you. And we did some pictures that are good examples and bad examples. If you completed 30 tasks, you got a brag tag to put on your bag. Thank you. Hi, I'm Sadie. And I'm Bren. What we love about Student Council is that we get to share kindness throughout the school and help with projects. We love the opportunity to go to CHOP and help out like Allie talked about. We are also excited to go and visit the nursing home. We are making cards for the elderly to help spread Easter spirit. We are looking forward to spending time with them because maybe they don't get to see their grandchildren or their family may not visit. This is why relationships are very special to us and we get to treasure the moment with them. We are looking forward to the trip. We want to do a shout out to our principal for letting us have these awesome experiences. Hi, my name is Rowan Morales. I wanted to talk about our pep rallies. We've done one pep rally so far. We do a lot of challenges. Student Council had a lot of fun setting them up and planning them. We have had one activity that we weren't able to do and we're hoping to do at the end of the year. We hope to do at least one more and possibly two, but that's mostly it. Thank you. Hello, I am Andrew Coleman, and this year we get a lot of neat stuff. But what I am telling you about is the author Kevin Coolidge. Kevin Coolidge came to SRU about 2 weeks ago. He talked to us about his characters from the Totally Ninja Raccoons. Kevin, amazing at ninja skills. Bandit, tall, loves to read, and smart. Rascal, loves donuts and great at inventions. And that is when Kevin Coolidge came to SRU. Hi, my name is Parker Collum. After Kevin Coolidge was done speaking, we did a draw for the readathon. Student Council picked some of the prizes. How the readathon worked was every chapter you read, you filled out a ticket and put it in a drawing for a chance to win a gift basket. I'm Scarlett Ecker from 4th grade. and I'm telling you about Spirit Week. Student Council comes up with different themes to wear for each day of the week. Student Council specifically signs outfits for specific days. An example is for class picture day, we did dress to impress. Student Council even comes up with cool sayings. Student Council tries to put Spirit Week throughout all the years. Everyone enjoys the Spirit Week. Hi, I'm Nora Morales and I'm in 4th grade. PSSAs are coming up for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Student Council is even trying to plan a pep rally for getting through PSSAs. Student Council is helping students get in the spirit for PSSAs.
All right, so this is most of our council, a couple members missing. Okay. Yeah, so a couple. But before we finish, I just want to give a shout out to Mrs. Z sitting over there. She is one of our advisors. Mrs. Coleman also helped to get this council started, and Mrs. Rhodes is also one of our advisors. So I'm kind of the type of person who says we should have a council who wants to run it. And so they gave me credit, but really the credit goes to Mrs. Z, who has the meeting every week and who got them prepared for tonight. So I definitely want to give her credit, Mrs. Coleman, for help getting it started. So, but our council has been very active. They come up with a lot of ideas. So I'm usually the bad guy in the reality of things and having to say no sometimes. But it's fun to have them, and they really are helping to spread kindness and school spirit, like was really our goal. So thank you.
Uh,
This is an example of a card we'll be giving to elders.
oh, that's fantastic. I'm gonna go this way this time. Thank you, SRU Student Council. Got it right this time. Also, I just want to make sure I missed something. Not surprising tonight, but Lynch also had Read Across America, and the same author joined them, and they had a lot of fun with that as well. I don't. Sorry, Mrs. Rhodes. So before I absolutely turn this night into a train wreck, there's one final thing I'd like to share. Last week, the board had a voting session, and the primary goal of that voting session was to approve some Act 93 transfers. Because we had our meeting at the Career Center, which was absolutely fabulous, and what a great opportunity for us to see that facility and learn about the programs there. I do want to welcome Mrs. Rhodes, who's going to be now the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. We have Mr. Mosier, who's going to be the Director of Special Services, and Mr. David Gabriel, who is going to now be the high school principal. So thank you for coming tonight, and congratulations and good luck. I said it sincerely. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stage, and thank you again, kids. That was great. You all should be proud. You're doing great work. We'll move on to the rest of the reports. Blast IU 17. We have nobody to report on that tonight, so we'll move to the Northern Tier Career Center. Ms. Cooper, anything to report?
I do. If you didn't make it last week, they had their annual demo day. This is really close and really loud. Where you can go and you can tour the facility and see all the projects that each of the areas within the Northern Tier Career Center are doing. I also had the opportunity to be on the advisory committee for the culinary on Monday. And it's, they do workforce. So I don't know if you know that, but within the Northern Tier Career Center, not only do you go, but then your senior year, you have workforce opportunities where they get co-ops and they get paid to do the things that they're doing. We are going to see tonight that there is an increase, and that also will transfer over into increase in seats. And it is at capacity. They're 40% over of what people want. So we've added to the welding wing, adding bays, and it's at full capacity. It's a great location. If you're ever interested, take a tour.
Thank you, Mrs. Cooper. Mrs. Minnick for PSBA.
I don't have anything to report this evening.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to solicitors items. Mr. Barrett.
Yes, I have 3 items tonight. I reported to you last week that I probably would have at least I hopefully would have a settlement ready in a tax assessment appeal. And that has not come through based on getting a response from opposing counsel, which we expect to have it, and it's on their plate at the present time. Number two, I was asked to do some legal research, which I have done and reported on. Number three, last Thursday, I was allowed to attend the legal roundup sponsored by the Pennsylvania School Boards Association legal department, which was held virtually. It was an afternoon program, 3 solid hours of instruction with 2 15-minute breaks every hour. This was done somewhat differently this year, rather than bring various attorneys in who do school law work. It was basically sponsored by the in-house lawyers for the Pennsylvania School Boards Association. And they did, in my opinion, a wonderful job of highlighting the important changes to the school code and the changes to the legal landscape in the last year. It was pretty intense, and the materials were very good. It was good to see the follow-up of most of the cases from the pandemic have settled, and we see have ended, and to see how they turned out. It was a very worthwhile program, and I thank you for letting me attend. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Yes, so to wrap up reports, I want to thank the SRU student council members. And if you want to stay, you can, but this is also a great opportunity to go home, do some homework. We know your time is valuable, but we thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I think one of them might have to stay.
Maybe that's a All right, so with that, let's move on to the next section of the agenda. We'll move on to visitors' comments for board action items only. Do we have any visitor comments tonight on board action items? Okay, looks like no, so we'll move on. Do we have a motion and a second to bring financial business to the table?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Okay, so we have our normal financial business. Very solid. Bills, general fund checks, cafeteria bills, earned income tax, secretary treasurer report, both our Harlan Row and the high school student activity reports. And then we also this month have the addition of the career center budget that Mrs. Cooper mentioned.
Yes.
And then we also have the category 1 and category 2 E-rate funding, which is funding for some additional IT services. Any discussion or questions on those items before we vote?
I just want to thank business manager for preparing, I think everyone has one, the paid through the cyber school charter bill. Is this from September to now? It says through 3/18. So July 1st to 3/18, $1 million.
How many students is that, Jenny? Just curious. I'm just wondering what the cost per student is for that.
It's in our enrollment at the back.
It's on the back. It's on the back, Greg.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It should be on our enrollment sheet that you guys will find in your packet.
So
It's a
67.
yellow paper. And it's either 67 or 68.
Okay.
81.
81. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go home.
So
Yeah, about
6 months for 81 students, $1 million.
Yeah.
I think last month, Mr. Johnson asked, like, how have we contacted these kids? Like, are we finding out what is the root cause of them going to cyber school?
So there's a few things going on. Obviously, parental choice is number one. Secondly, sometimes we have a professional disagreement on how expectations, and they do pull their children. We do try to reach out to them, They have no, just so you understand clearly, there is no expectation for any person enrolling into a cyber charter school to notify us at all. The notification comes through the request for transcripts from the cyber charter school. So there's no like, hey, I'm going to a cyber charter school. Can we, where we can prompt ourselves to sit down and ask why? I will tell you, our administrators, including our role coordinator, do their due diligence when they are aware to find out why and to encourage them to consider our online school first as a transition. Also, I will strongly believe there's also some copycat that goes on when someone who has a friend who went to online cyber charter school and they only have to look at a computer for X amount of hours a day versus sitting in a classroom. It becomes a trend. So you'll see trends go up and down where kids will pop out because they think it's what them and the friend groups will do. And I'm not making excuses of that, but that can be part of it. And that we're not the only district that's facing that challenge, but it certainly is concerning because when you look at $1,076,000 in 6 months, you're talking about multiple teachers that we have to not put in classrooms to cover that. Where a teacher, if we educate students, and these are 81 students that are in cyber charter school, we could educate those 81 kids with 3 teachers versus, which would be a significant cost savings for us. Now, the current resolution that's put forth by the Governor Shapiro budget caps that cost at $8,000. I do want to point out there's a little bit of a caveat to that. That's for regular education students. There is still a different formula to pay out for students who have an IEP. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
$12,000 for regular ed student and $26,000 for special education.
Yeah. No, that's just an average cost. Yeah. Typically, yeah, we pay a lot of money. So
We don't get any reports back. Like,
no, they're not our students.
so how do we know if it's a successful, if the kids are successful in charter school?
It's not they're not our students, so we don't know. What I can tell you is I would encourage you to check the Future Ready Index, where you can see their benchmark scores as compared to ours. And historically, and I can't speak for every cyber charter school, but historically, they are very underperforming. And I think that was very well noted in Governor Shapiro's address about when he included
So
that.
we're paying $1 million, $1,070,598 in 6 months, and we don't know if these kids are successful or not.
Right. So I think what you like, we are paying that amount. However, calling them our students is somewhat inaccurate because they're not ours. And that's the problem. I think to your point, they're not our students. We can't keep track of them. We can't educate them. We can't provide supplemental support for them. We can't encourage them with all of our extra resources.
But they can take our money. But
Yep.
our money goes,
Yeah.
taxpayers.
That is the taxpayers' money going out. So, I just want to point this out. Cyber charter schools are free for parents, not free for the school district in which they should attend.
So what should the taxpayers do?
Educate themselves. Understand that we are partners in education. While we don't always meet their expectations, and we are, because we do try to hold a standard that students are required to learn and be participants in their learning, that they need to partner with us. And our intent for every person in our district that works for us has the intention of doing what's best for students. It just doesn't mean that we're out to get kids. I really hate that conversation that we're not serving them appropriately. It's a partnership. Education is a partnership. We are not the only ones responsible for educating children in our school district.
Jenny, can you give the same report at the end of the year? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, and I did have one question on item J. The E-rate funding. I think this ties to
Yeah.
the contracts that come up later.
Yep.
So I see that, right, so there's, looking forward to the contracts later, there's a $250 per month contract for the fiber connection between the main office and the high school, the admin office, and the high school at $250, which I see that in the report we're looking at here, but then I see the SRU to Lynch connection is listed at $1,800 a month
Right.
on this report, but in the contract is only $900 a month. Should that be? Are they one and the same? 900 here and then.
Yeah. It's a 900 monthly recurring cost. So I guess I'd have to ask Clint. Okay. I'll have to look at the contract again.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. So that's you to Lynch, 1,800 a month.
It says we're currently paying 1,000 with the new pricing when we get. I think Clint's looking at it right now. I don't have, this is not my wheelhouse.
It's fine. They should be the same thing, right? We're approving here to pay is the same thing as that contract later. I just wanna make sure.
Remember, I also stated that dark fiber is also the dark web. So
It's
I
not the
didn't
case.
understand.
It's not the case. Well, it's per month though, still.
It still says per month.
Yeah, it's a per month cost. I just want to make sure whatever one we're approving is 900 is the right amount or
Yeah.
1,800. I don't. Yeah.
President Owen?
Yeah.
I have one question. I know we're at the E-rate, but I do have, actually, it's a two-part question for Mr. Stage on the charter schools. Can
Yes,
we
sir.
still ask that? Is that still open
Yeah,
for
yeah.
questions?
I'm still here.
All right, so the two questions I have, one is going to be, when the students' parents they decide that they're gonna go into charter school. And we go to them, I know there's probably a certain amount of work that we do to figure out how can we get them back into our schools, but is it touched base on 6 months down the road, 5 months down the road? Are we going back and saying, okay, what's going on? Have we changed these things? What can we do to get them back in? The second part of that question is going to be, when they go to the charter school, is it that much harder to get them back into our educational, how would you call it? It's the platform or where they're at. Are they going to be too far behind if they wait 6 months of charter school? Can they do that? Can they come back?
So two excellent questions. So we do try to follow up each year, because usually it's sometimes sometimes it's a family driven decision, so they're not coming back. Sometimes it's based upon a significant issue. Oh, we're at correction. Good. So yeah, we do attempt to do that, but I'll be honest with you, those people have sometimes given it a lot of thought, and it's not going to change their outcome immediately, and not until they learn or they feel that they're not getting what they were promised in terms of an education. And yes, I think you're looking at some administrators who are here, who, with the exception of maybe Mrs. Rhodes, who probably doesn't see it as much in the elementary level, but still may, we get kids back sometimes a year later, sometimes 2 years later, who are behind grade level. And so it does take some time to catch up or catch them up.
Well, in her new position, you'll be.
She'll deal with it a lot more. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So you do notice that they are behind if they do come back.
I think a lot of times we do this problem. Depends. I mean, sometimes people are very.
Right.
Provided. A lot of the students in the online program, if they get older, they're home alone. So, you face those setbacks too, because we're kind of stepping on the creating their home. They're not following things, but yes, like we can see, coming back from COVID when you have the kids that were traditional versus non-traditional. You could see again those outfits. So I think it just depends on what that looks like outside of that. I feel like each building has its own process is to try to catch things up, provide an event with the work and thanks for that.
Yeah.
Testing them up as best we can.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, thank you for bringing that up. The challenge, we're trying to also, we also encourage everyone who, holds the carrot over our head or the rain cloud that they're going to take their kid to cyber charter school. We let them know right away that we have our own online school available. I think one of the reasons why it's sometimes not chosen is we still have a level of expectation and accountability. We still keep them on a very rigid attendance expectation. We have teachers checking, we have a WOLA coordinator that checks weekly to see if they're logging in and doing the necessary amount of work that helps them reach their goal by completing the course by the end of the semester or the end of the school year, depending on the course structure. So I don't know. I don't work for a cyber charter school. I don't always know if that level of accountability is expected. We also, and to Kathy Joe's point, how do we know if they're successful or not? Up until a few years ago, cyber charter schools sent us letters, then we had to handle truancy issues. So they would say, okay, this kid hasn't come to school or logged in for X number of days or weeks. And it was our problem to go through the truancy process for them. Realizing that it's absolutely ludicrous because we have no contact with these students because they're not our students anymore. The state changed the rule, and now the cyber charter schools are responsible for the truancy, which gives us even greater separation to knowing whether they're actually attending school. And I can't speak with any expertise or confidence whether those students are attending school or not.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll just follow up to my earlier question about the E-rate funding. We've confirmed the 1,800 a month that's in the E-rate memo is accurate. When we get to the contracts later, we'll make an addendum to the contract we're going to approve.
Excellent.
I have another
Yes.
question.
Yep,
Are you
no,
done?
No, yep, go ahead.
So we have paper here with the interest comparison from 21-22 through 23-24. It's a huge difference. What are we doing differently?
So I think Ms. Shores, to her credit, with the advice of a couple other board members, we began, she bargained or worked with our local banks to increase our interest that we're getting on and we now sweep our accounts. Yeah. And she'll have a little bit more of a public report on that in the near future, maybe April, as we start beginning to preliminary budget discussions. But as you can tell, that's benefited us well. I think you've seen, like 3 years ago, we were bringing in nominal dollars and now we're bringing in much more reasonable. Now, I just want to point that this will not last forever, but interest rates are favorable for municipalities and school districts right now.
I'd just like to thank the board members and Ms. Shores for being financially
It
responsible.
was a great observation.
Okay, any further questions on the financial business? Okay, let's go for a vote then on A through J.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Charles-Nosky.
Yes.
And Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second to bring personnel items to the table?
So moved.
Second.
So we have 3 items on personnel today, an Act 93 resignation, a support resignation, and a support retirement. Any questions or conversations on the personnel items? Okay, let's take it for vote, Christine.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Charles
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
and Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes, Mr. Stage.
I just want to take a moment and thank Mr. Cummings. He's leaving for bigger and better things, but his 6.5 years here has been invaluable. The job that he's done has been exceptional. He's advocated for students appropriately while still trying to support our staff. The job is never ending and it's very often not rewarding. So thank you. And good luck. And also, good morning, Mr. Cummings, and thank you for waking up. Okay, I got it. Yeah,
Don't
thank
miss your
you.
humor too.
Thank you, Mr. Stage, and thank you, Mr. Cummings. Best of luck to you. Okay, moving on, do we have a motion and a second to bring contracts and agreements up for discussion and vote?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have two contracts here, both for fiber through Empire Access. Per our earlier discussion, we're going to make an addendum to B. So the copy everyone has in front of you for B, which is the fiber service between SRU and Lynch. So it's currently listed at a gigabyte at $900 per month. That's going to be updated to 5 gigs at $1,800 per month. And we're going to recommend that we make that update tonight so we can vote on it, so it can be approved.
Do we have to vote to make that
Tonight.
change?
So yeah, do we have to, if that's not in the,
I believe so.
so do we need to vote on that update and then vote on?
Hold up. Clint, is this time sensitive? Okay, there you go. It's an emergency.
They have.
Yeah, I believe we have to make an addendum to the
Okay.
agenda and then vote.
The question is if it's substantive and costing us money, it has to be an emergency to change the agenda. So I would say we should put it off to the next meeting.
Pat, I agree with you, but it's in the agenda. I think
It
it's,
is?
it's, I mean, because it does have both contracts. They're just incorrectly stated in.
Yeah, the amount was correct earlier. It was just,
This is the one.
right, it's just not represented correctly in this.
So the agenda has both contracts within it.
Then it's fine.
It's fine. All right.
It just needs to be
Yeah.
as corrected. So I think the agenda's there, so.
Okay, so we're good to just make that the update then to 1,800 per month, 5 gigs. And a copy that we signed tonight will reflect that.
It's also stated in the category that we just voted on.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and any questions on those two items? Yeah. And thank you for that, Mr. Jones. Okay, vote.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Charles
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
And Mr. Johnson.
Yes. Okay, next policies. Do we have a second and a motion to bring this up?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have two policies, both second reads. First is 006 for meetings and second is 011 for principal government and leadership. Any questions or discussion on those two policies?
Just want to note just that we did review those as a board and made sure that we were all in alignment on what was in those policies, just because they really do have to do with our procedural and sort of the codes and sort of that we follow as a board. So just wanted to note that we did have that thorough discussion and we're all aligned on what we have there.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Okay, let's go for vote.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Charles
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson
Yes.
and Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Okay, next, do we have a motion and a second for curriculum and instruction?
So moved.
Second. Okay. So we have, 4 items, Mr. Sage?
Yeah, so I just want to make a note. It was requested that we look at one of the course descriptions and maybe design a more appropriate title. So you'll notice that one of the course descriptions is now called Innovative Artistic Design.
It's very innovative.
I like it better. It's much nicer. I like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel. I'll give him 98% of the
Very
credit.
nice.
Nice job.
98%. 2% was me saying, hey, we need a better title.
Did you throw it in?
Oh, yeah. I'll share my 2% with Mrs. Thank you. That was all I'd like to say.
All right, so the four courses here are innovative artistic design, formerly known as crafts. Sculpture. And then we also have a overnight field trip request for FBLA and a Science Olympiad overnight field trip request as well. Any further questions or discussion on those 4 items?
No.
Okay, vote Christine?
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
and Mrs. Minnick.
Yes.
All right, next, do we have a motion and a second for transportation items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we just have one item, a substitute driver. Any question or discussion on that item? Okay, vote Christine?
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Tarasnowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
and Mrs. Minnick.
Yes.
Okay, we have nothing for buildings and grounds tonight. Next, visitor comments. Do we have any visitor comments on any other items? Okay. The next section are just some informational items, board communications and personnel transfers. We have none of this time. Our typical Sunday facility use request, some additional field trip requests, and our enrollment numbers across the district and by building. Do we have any board discussion items for tonight?
I'd like to know, it's 15 Wildcats for lunch with Mia. Like, what is that in like parent cash? Like,
Like, how do you
because I'd
find it?
like to come and have lunch with Mia. All right.
Priceless.
Huh.
Yeah, having a daughter that loves to have lunch with me, I know that's like the top of the list that the students love to do.
Oh.
There's a dog upstairs. Okay, our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 9th. That's our work session at the admin office at 7 o'clock, and as normal, committees will meet at 6:15. We will be going to executive session for legal and personnel. No action will be taken. Do we have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you all.